Is this some sick joke, Joseph? How could you do this to your own wife? This is childish, Emily. Why did you have to involve my parents? Couldn't you handle it like adults? The car crash should have ended you.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Emily, and I'm in my early 30s. I am happily married to Joseph, at least I was happily married to him. Just a few months ago, my world seemed perfect, but like all good stories, my life was destined for a twist. As fate would have it, my husband Joseph had entrusted me with the simple task of running an errand.
Hey, can you do me a favor? I need you to pick up something for me while you're out. Take the key for my car.
I wasn't particularly fazed about doing an errand for him. It had become a familiar scenario in our relationship. Joseph often relied on me to handle various tasks, whether it was paying the bills, buying groceries, or running errands, always claiming exhaustion from work as his excuse. It's funny because he's not the only one with work and he would not share the errands with me.
It's our anniversary tomorrow, and I thought it would be nice to surprise you with something special. Consider it a belated anniversary gift for all those years when I never got you anything.
I couldn't believe my ears. Joseph rarely gave gifts. He would always joke that the fact that he still stayed with me was his gift. This gesture caught me off guard and excitement bubbled within me as I imagined what the surprise might be. Could it be the piece of jewelry I had been eyeing, or perhaps a heartfelt keepsake that symbolized our love? Regardless of what it was, the fact that Joseph went out of his way to plan something special touched me deeply. I was a bit afraid he wasn't going to change anymore and would keep giving me the bare minimum throughout the course of our relationship. I pushed those thoughts aside and focused on the task at hand. As I took his key and settled into his car, I couldn't help but admire the sleek and polished exterior. Joseph's car was his pride and joy, meticulously cared for and always sparkling clean. The leather seats hugged my body comfortably as I adjusted the mirrors and fastened my seatbelt. As I started the engine and pulled out onto the road, I got to experience the car in a new way, paying extra attention to every detail, including the feel and the sound of the brakes. I couldn't help but wonder if the brakes were supposed to be this way, given the limited experience I have with driving Joseph's car. As I pressed down the brake pedal, a peculiar sensation washed over me. It wasn't the reassuring resistance I had come to expect from the brakes. Instead, there was a slight sponginess raising doubt in my mind. I questioned whether this was how the brakes were intended to feel and whether everything was as it should be. Listening closely, I strained my ear to catch any unusual sounds. Was that a faint squeak I heard, or was just my imagination playing tricks on me? I couldn't shake off the feeling that there might be something wrong with the car. Driven by my instincts, I decided to investigate further to ensure my safety. I called Joseph to voice out my concerns. Hey Joseph, I'm on my way to pick up the gift, but I have this feeling that something might be off with the car. The brakes feel a bit strange, and I'm not sure if everything's alright.
Oh, come on, Emily. You're just being overly cautious. Trust me, I take care of my car better than I take care of myself. Do you think I would actually miss a day of maintenance? Besides, it's a powerful machine, and it likes to be driven a bit wild. Going slow might be more dangerous. Don't worry about it.
I wanted to believe Joseph. After all, he had more knowledge about cars than I did, and his dismissive tone made me second guess my concerns. I decided to follow his advice and put my faith in him, pushing aside my initial doubts. As I pressed on, my anxiety grew with every mile. The sound of the brakes continued to nag me, each scream and squeal of it. Joseph's words echoed in my mind, urging me to drive faster to drown out the disconcerting noise. Reluctantly, I followed his advice, hoping the speed would distract me from the growing unease. But fate had a different plan in store. As I approached a busy intersection, my heart froze in my chest. The traffic light ahead turned red, forcing me to apply the brakes. With a surge of panic, I pressed my foot down, but to my horror, the pedal sank to the floor. The brakes had failed. Time seemed to slow. Horns blared and tires screeched. My hands gripped the steering wheel, my mind racing to find a solution. Desperate to avoid colliding with the vehicles ahead, I veered to the side, narrowly dodging a catastrophic collision. The screeching of metal and the shattering of glass filled the air as I careened off the road, finally coming to a stop with a jolt. The impact left me disoriented and shaken, my body aching from the force of the crash. Amidst the adrenaline pumping through my veins, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. I was alive. With trembling fingers, I reached for my phone and dialed Joseph's number, my voice quivering as I recounted the horrifying accident I had just been in. Joseph, there's been an accident. The brakes failed and I barely avoided a major collision. I'm scared, Joseph. I'm okay, but the car, it's a wreck. I don't know what to do.
Emily, where are you? I'll come right away.
My heart skipped a beat when I heard a subtle annoyance in his voice, as if my survival had inconvenienced him in some way. I guess he's just that of a busy man. As he rushed to the scene of the accident, his priorities seemed askew. Instead of immediately checking on my well-being, he instinctively dug pieces of the dashcam and retrieved the SD card from it. He is such a practical man, since we will need to file an insurance claim anyway. At least we'll get something out of this traumatizing accident. In the days that followed, as I recuperated from my injuries and pieced together the events of that day, I couldn't help but be consumed by so many questions. Joseph, where's the SD card from your car's dashcam? I want to watch the footage of the accident.
That will just distress you further. Reliving the accident might be too traumatic, so it's best you don't watch it, and besides, watching it won't change what happened. Let's just move forward instead of dwelling on the past.
Despite his protests, I couldn't let go of my curiosity. One night, as Joseph fell into a deep slumber, I sneakily opened his laptop, skimming through files and searching for the exact moment when the brakes failed. The cursor hovered over countless mundane clips of everyday drives, conversation, and innocent moments. I clicked on a random video, hoping that it will be the right one. Tears started to well up in my eyes immediately. I wish we could be together all the time without any restrictions.
I know, babe, but we have to be careful. We don't want anyone to find out about us.
When can we see each other again after this? I'll miss your touch.
Soon, my love. We'll find a way. Just know that you mean everything to me.
A sound of a soft kiss followed their words, echoing through the car speakers and piercing my soul. A mix of anger, betrayal, and heartache swirled within me. How could Joseph have done this to me? How long had the affair been going on? Is that why he wouldn't let me use his car, because it's for his other lover? Gosh, I think this hurts even more than the car accident I was recently in. I dialed the number of Joseph's parents, desperate for their support and guidance. That very night, I sat in our living room with his parents by my side. The laptop was open before them, ready to expose the painful truth. As the video played, the room filled with tension and the air grew heavy with disappointment. Are you sure that's not your voice? I can't believe he was capable of doing such a thing. I raised him to be better than this.
I think she would be aware of her own voice. I'm sorry that this happened to you, Emily. Alright, that's it.
My father-in-law stomped into Joseph's room. Filled with disappointment, he unleashed a torrent of scoldings and reprimands.
Is this some sick joke, Joseph? How could you do this to your own wife?
Joseph's face has been contorted with confusion as being woken up from his sleep. He lashed out at me regardless, accusing me of being a tattletale for bringing his parents into personal matters.
What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. We saw footages from your car's dashcam. You are having an affair. I'm so disappointed in you. Your mother and I solved every problem that came our way so you wouldn't have a broken family, and then you go ahead and start one? This is childish, Emily. Why did you have to involve my parents? Couldn't you handle it like adults? The car crash should have ended you.
It was all too chaotic for me, and I couldn't do anything but freeze on spot.
If you can't honor the commitment you made to Emily, or at least respect her as a human being, then you don't deserve the car we have given you as a wedding gift. We're taking it back and we're not getting you a new one.
With desperation in his eyes, Joseph snatched the laptop from the table and rushed to his room, determined to get rid of the evidence. The sound of their pleas fell on deaf ears as he barricaded himself away, frantically attempting to send the car crash footage to the insurance company before he deletes all files. Joseph's parents and I exchanged helpless glances. The reality of the shattered trust hung heavy in the air. In that moment, the decision was made. I knew I couldn't continue a life built on lies and betrayal. He accuses me of being childish, but what about him? He's literally hiding inside his room like a kid, deleting his search history from his parents. I want a divorce. The room fell into a heavy silence, broken only by the distant sound of Joseph's frantic movements in his room. Joseph's parents, still reeling from the shock of their son's actions, nodded in agreement. There was a silent understanding that the situation's now over. Joseph still stayed inside his room. His parents went home, and I stayed with my parents' place temporarily. In the days that followed, while I was trying to rebuild my life after that devastating betrayal, I found myself having a seemingly normal day. As I went about my routine, a notification suddenly dinged on my phone. I unlocked my phone and read the unexpected message.
Dear Mr. Joseph, this is to acknowledge receipt of the evidence you submitted regarding the incident involving your vehicle and the subsequent insurance claim. We take this matter very seriously and assure you that a thorough examination of the evidence will be conducted.
Oh, I had forgotten that Joseph's email was still logged in on my phone when he had borrowed it some time ago. In an impulsive move, I opened his sent emails to watch the footage he sent to the insurance company. After all, I'm still curious about the car crash footage Joseph refused to show me.
Can you believe it? When this pushes through, we'll not only get rich with the insurance money, but finally be free to be together.
Are you sure this is going to work? What if she refuses to pick the gift up?
Are you kidding me? That woman is desperate from any ounce of affection. She would probably scream with glee, as if I would actually spend a penny on her. If I would give anyone a grand anniversary gift, it would be for you, my darling.
I can't wait, Joseph. It's about time we make our dreams a reality. It's about time to get rid of that trash. My emotions ran wild. Not only did I watch how Joseph and his affair plotted the intentional crash for insurance money, it was also a calculated act to end my life. It was a chilling realization of Joseph's intention. I can't even recognize the man I married anymore. What happened to him? Who is he? Without wasting a second, I reached for my phone and immediately dialed my lawyer's number. No matter what happens, I'll make sure to hold Joseph accountable for his actions. As the call connected, I took a deep breath, shared the evidence I had uncovered, and made it clear that I wanted to press charges for attempted murder against Joseph. My lawyer was equally taken aback by the disturbing revelations and assured me that we would proceed with the necessary legal actions. Together, we meticulously prepared the case, gathering evidence and building a strong argument to build a solid case. In the following days, as the legal proceedings against Joseph for attempted murder went through, filing a formal complaint for attempted murder. News also reached to me how the insurance company had caught wind of Joseph's fraudulent activities and had taken legal action against him for insurance fraud. I didn't even have to intervene or tell on him to the company. It's the consequences of his actions, simply closing in on him from all sides. His parents refused to provide any financial support for his legal defense. He was left without resources or a safety net, as his parents also severed familial ties that Joseph had taken for granted. He had become a man stripped of his wealth, his marriage, his parents' support, and his freedom, with no license to drive his misfortune away. The thought that the person I once loved had planned to end my life for personal gain was a bitter pill to swallow. But ironically, the accident saved my life because I have been given a second chance in life without the compensation of such a wicked man. It was a bumpy ride, but karma took the driver's seat to steer me towards the justice I deserve.